Yeah, nice to see you, mate. Thanks for your time, first and foremost. Is it nice to have a kind of a full week without a midweek game cycle? It feels like it's been pretty relentless.
Yeah, this is the second week in a row, obviously, so we've had a lot of work in the training pitch, and we can, normally it's a case of coming in, recover and go again, basically, and it's tough to really look back on what we've been doing or look ahead too much to the next game because it's so thick and fast. But yeah, we've obviously went over the games that we've played in, but also what we've been doing previously and what's been so good about what we've been doing and what's brought us success. So continue to work on that, obviously look at some stuff that we can improve on and just keep trying to improve on the training pitch every day.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it really feels as if you've got something going now and you've got that momentum. As somebody who knows what it's all about at this stage of the season, you've been here twice before and won the title. How big is momentum, and do you feel, as you say, you've kind of harnessed that as a group now moving forward into what is the defining part of the season?
Yeah, I don't think you need to have been there and done it to know that momentum in this league is obviously massive. I think we've always said at one point we need to put a really good run together, and that's what we're doing now. We had the slight hiccup at QPR, but again didn't lose the game. But there's points earlier on in the season that we feel we've let go, and it's about getting them back now, and I think that's what we're doing. We need to accumulate as many points as we can to give ourselves the best chance. That's what we're doing. We've just had a run against teams, round about us, and that's the games that you need to win if you want to put yourself in the mix. We've done that, so we need to kick on again.
As you say, it is all about looking forward now, but in this period, maybe sort of before Christmas onwards, is there one game you could look back on now, or a moment in a game and think, yeah, maybe that was a turning point, that's when something clicked and we haven't looked back since?
Not in particular. I think when we went away to Hull and our backs were against the wall quite a bit and we ground that out, I think that was a big result for us. Think back to that game, obviously we relied on Gunny quite a bit, which we know we can do. So, but that's again, I mentioned the teams round about us, and that's the ones that we had to start winning, because that's when you really gain points and push up the table. So, yeah, we've had a good run. We've been going well, but there's plenty to improve on. We're still leaking a couple, cheap goals here and there that we want to improve on. We're scoring plenty, which is good. Working on things at the top end of the pitch. Obviously, a lot been spoken about Sars being back. Obviously, that helps us, but it's just about trying to get better again because we feel that there is something there for us out this season. I think everybody can see it, and as you mentioned, momentum's on our side.
And obviously, we don't really need to look back now because it's all about the positivity. But as we're speaking to you today, I did want to just ask you about, and I can't, forget the game when it was, but in that real tough spell, I think you had to do the post-match media, and it wasn't even so much what you said, but you just looked, you could tell on your face, I think you said something along the lines of, look, we can't work any harder, we're doing everything we possibly can, and it's just not coming for us for whatever reason. When you have a period like that, what do you do? Do you look within? Do you draw on, as an experienced player, experiences you probably have similar in your career to come through that spell? I mean, how do you sort of process that when it feels like everything you're doing and it still isn't coming together?
I'm not sure what game it was either. I think there was a few that we felt like that, to be honest, that we just didn't do good enough. As I say, we've always worked hard enough. That's never been in question. That will never be in question, because I see day in, day out how hard everybody wants to win, but it's about going out there and doing it. And you definitely look within. We had some honest conversations within this place, and without finger pointing or digging anybody out, we knew that we had to do more as individuals, as a team, as a group, everybody, players and staff. And I think we've took responsibility since then, and that's what it was all about, taking responsibility. Because if a goal goes against you, or if something goes against you, I think we at times went under too easily. Maybe felt sorry for ourselves a bit, and as I say, that's about taking responsibility, standing up and being counted, and that's what we're doing now, which is the main thing.
And as part of that process, you said there conversations. I mean, would you, as one of the senior players, and maybe some of the other senior players, would you have got together, maybe informally or whatever, during that spell and almost, come on, we need to sort of not lead this because you do that anyway, but was it right, it's almost crunch time now as a senior sort of group of players? Yeah,
we've got plenty of senior players in the changing room that have obviously experienced a lot of these moments in their career, I'm sure, and it's how you come out the other side, and I think the way we've really galvanised each other. You know, maybe after games, players will say, you know, it'll be on emotion a bit, but players will say how they're feeling and stuff like that. But then when we came in, it's about improving. It's not then about really digging anybody out. We'll do a lot of video analysis and see where we can go better, and that's what we've been doing. We've been trying to improve daily, and we've been doing that. I think you can see with the performances and results on the pitch that everybody's, you know, really pulling in the one direction, and you know, fans on side as well, which is obviously a bonus for us.
Yeah, can I ask you, obviously you're probably asked, maybe get a bit more of it, but the centre-back thing as well, we saw it, you know, in game maybe towards the end of last season where you had to, at certain points in the game, maybe drop in there, but what were your thoughts when, I think it was the Bristol City away game, when the coach has come to you and said, look, I want you to start this game at centre-back, and obviously the way it's panned out since, it looks like you've been playing there all your life, but I think I asked him after the Bristol game and he said, look, you more or less said you'd never played that position in your whole career, so sort of in the lead up to that game, what was your first sort of thought when he said today?
Well, maybe? As you said, I'd obviously dropped back there in a couple of games that we were, we had to be a wee bit more, you know, expansive maybe, and you know, maybe take more risks. And I think there was a couple of games in a row. There was one at home that I stepped in there, and there was an away game as well that I went centre back. Cardiff away, I went centre back last half an hour. We obviously get back in the game. It wasn't down to that, but you know, things like that. And we looked at the way we had been playing with me there, and we had kind of took more risks. Injuries played a part in that as well. We had some injuries in that area. Gibble was out at the time, so obviously if the manager's asked me to do a job, and you know, I'll do whatever I can for this football club. I always have, and that's just the way it always be. So I was asked to do a job, and you know, the manager gave me his reasons for it, and they made total sense. And I think being asked to do something like that, where I felt pretty comfortable doing it. I know that I hadn't played there previously, but I think I'm quite adaptable, and I think I can, you know, adapt to these situations, and the way we want to play suited me to that position as well. So the manager has his reasons for it, and you know, I think at times it really worked.
I think he did joke, he said that you maybe said to him you quite like it because there's less kilometres to run as well, but on a serious note, I mean, what are the differences and the challenges between, obviously, you know, your centre mid position and playing at centre back, do you feel?
I mean, it depends the game. It does depend the game, because you'll get teams who really come after you, and you need to find solutions quickly and stuff like that. In the middle of the pitch, you don't get as much time, and you know, you're right in the middle of the game. It's, you need to have your head on a swivel the whole time, and it's like a 360. But when you're at the back, I think it is a bit more comfortable with the ball because everything's in front of you. Obviously, I can improve on the defensive side of things there, and I can do better for the goal against Cardiff at the weekend, and I defended like a midfielder in that instance. But I think it was mainly with the ball that we felt we could progress the game a lot more. So I think when I do play deeper, you've got the whole game in front of you. So if you can see a striker running, whereas if I'm in the middle, I have to turn and see that before I can play the pass. But from deeper, I think I can see more things happening. I've got a lot of options, obviously. In the main, it's been Gabby and Nacho in front of me, so you know, two players that are always desperate to get on the ball. So at times the job is pretty easy when you're just feeding players like that the ball.
Yeah, clearly it's all about the here and now, and you're not, I'm sure, looking at that positionally for longer term. But could it maybe add a bit of longevity to your career as well?
I don't know. I hope so. We'll see how things go. I think I'm not quite there yet. Obviously, I've spoke to the manager about that. He's obviously says that he sees me there long term, and yeah, possibly could do something. But right now, I think I'm still at my best when I'm in the middle. But if I'm asked to do a job, whether it be for certain games or injuries or whatever it is, then no problem.
Final one from me, and I know it's as far away as it possibly could be from your mind at the minute, but we're kind of coming into that Player of the Year sort of voting with the fans, and you know, I'd be shocked if you wasn't in the front rank without obviously speaking for the fans who ultimately vote. I just was interested on a personal level. You've been here quite a number of seasons now. Yes, it's been a challenge as a collective in terms of results and performances at periods, but on a personal level, I mean, where would you feel you've been this season, you know, in terms of your own performance?
I feel like I've been pretty consistent in my performances. Obviously, the start of the season, nobody was hitting the highs that they can. We went through a spell where, you know, everybody was performing under par, to be honest. But I think since the upturn in form for everybody, then everybody's took their game to a new level. I feel good. I feel, you know, at the young age of 32, I feel as fit as I ever have done. I feel like I'm, you know, getting about, doing as much workload as I ever have, and I feel like with the ball just now, I'm making an impact on the game as well. So, without really comparing it to previous seasons, because I just always want to keep improving no matter what age I am. So I don't really look back and say I've done better this year than that previous year or whatever. Like, I just want to keep getting better and do as much as I can for the team, and that's what I'll always do.
Thanks. Good luck, Saturday.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
I'll just take a couple.
Yeah.
As you said that 32 was a young age, by the way, so the moment it goes on. Okay, Kenny, just a couple. What's been the secret to the team's consistency at the moment compared to that particularly rough patch that you had in the autumn?
Yeah, well, I think I mentioned there about taking responsibility for the actions that we were previously doing, and you know there was a lot of mistakes leading to goals and things like that, and it was about, you know, really cutting them out, because I think they kind of mistakes and goals really affected our performances, really affected us as individuals and as a team, and at times we didn't react as well as we should have been, and obviously we lost a lot of points doing that. Even games we were ahead, and if I look back to Leeds at home, Watford away, we're 2 goals up. That can't be games that we're dropping points in, never mind losing. So I think it's about going to taking responsibility for your actions and really putting the work in to be better. It's okay saying, yeah, we want to be better, we need to be better, but it's going and putting the work in and really doing it, and we've done that.
And it was good results for the teams who won for you midweek. Do you find yourself, you know, checking the scores, and does that add to the pressure for you and the team going into the next game?
I think saying that, you know, you don't check the scores or whatever, of course you do. It's natural, it's normal to do that. But if we do our own job and we do what we've been doing recently, then we give ourselves the best possible chance. We don't want to rely on teams dropping points or losing games. If we do our job, we know we're going to be there or thereabouts, and that's the main thing. I think that's what we've been doing recently, and that's, again, I've mentioned that about taking responsibility about what we do.
And just lastly, team morale must be pretty good at the moment. Do you think that push that point to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, you know, I'm sure it's good for the neutral, with a lot of teams fighting for a couple spots that are up for grabs, in my opinion. But it's good. There's a good feeling in this place every day. You know, everybody's getting fit. I think it's only Shane Duffy that's out just now, who's close. You know, Sarge's getting back, Gibble's getting back. So it's a full squad, and headaches for the manager that I'm sure he's enjoying. Thank you.
Perfect. Do you want to hop next over?
Yeah, please.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.